Do you remember what you were doing Thanksgiving Day 2016, 7 years ago tomorrow? I don't remember what I was doing, but I kind of do. I was watching the Detroit Lions take on the Chicago Bears. And that is the last time that the Detroit Lions won a game on Thanksgiving. They have lost every game since then from 2017 through 2022. The Detroit Lions have an opportunity to beat the Green Bay Packers tomorrow and add to their best start since 1962 and move to 9-2 on the season. As we head into week 12 and the Sunday of football, don't forget about the Friday on Amazon Prime, the Detroit Lions can be tied for or just under the Philadelphia Eagles. We needed some help from the Kansas City Chiefs, but none of their receivers wanted to catch the ball. Otherwise, the Detroit Lions, would they win tomorrow, could be in first place in the NFC. They are the second best team in football, believe it or not, under the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm really starting to see a Detroit Lion, Philadelphia Eagle NFC title game matchup. But today's video is going to be a little different because ESPN for the second week in a row doesn't have the stats. And maybe it's time to move on from that type of video. We'll see how this one does instead. But the Detroit Lions have an opportunity tomorrow to do something. Yesterday, the email came out about hosting a playoff game. So the excitement is at an all-time high. It's the highest that it's been since I have been on this platform. Thanksgiving is not, it's a great day. We've been playing on this day for a long time, and it's been a long time since we've won. There's the best thing to come out of a Thanksgiving Day loss was in 2020, that absolute shellacking against the Deshaun Watson-led Houston Texans, where Sheila Hamp did the infamous hand over the face, and Matt Patricia was fired 48 hours later. That is the best thing to come out of a Thanksgiving Day loss. The Detroit Lions have an opportunity to do something that could really set the tone for the rest of the season. So what we're going to do is I'll just give you my thoughts on what I expect to happen tomorrow. And then we'll look at some things that I want to point out as to how important tomorrow's game is for both teams. The Detroit Lions have not a huge injury list, but the Green Bay Packers have a whole novel of injured players. Aaron Jones, their running back, will be out. They traded Rasul Douglas. A lot of people are questionable, and a few of them are doubtful for tomorrow. So what do the Detroit Lions need to do? They're going to be playing in front of a home crowd. I think they have to do exactly what they did last game in week 4, pressure Jordan Love. Now, he's playing better than he was in week 4, but I think he's still very beatable. So I think we're going to sack him. The Detroit Lions, maybe we won't have, what did we sack him last time? 5 times? Maybe we don't have 5 sacks, but I think they get to Jordan Love. I know the Green Bay Packers are kind of struggling at running back, and we're going to have to lock down the receivers. But I think the Detroit Lions are going to kind of rebound from that miserable offensive performance last game. And I think the defense is going to have something to say about their performance as well. So I think the line, and this is not arrogance. You can't take a team for granted. That's not what I'm doing here. But I think the only time we've lost at home is Seattle. And we lost that because the defense couldn't stop anybody, and we lost the coin toss, right? So I think the Lions are going to take care of business tomorrow. I think they do. I think the offense gets back in stride. I think we might have a few interceptions tomorrow. I think it's going to go not just like the first game, but I think the Lions pull this off and get the W, move to 9-2. But how important is this game for both teams? Let's check it out. All right, so the Detroit Lions sit second atop. It's funny because these are the best 2 teams in the NFL. These are the next best 2. So it's very rare that the NFC is ahead of the AFC in any way. But the Chiefs, it's the Eagles, Lions, and then Ravens, Chiefs in that order. Best record. With that loss, the Ravens are now the number 1 seed in the AFC. So how big is this for both teams? Well, for the Lions, it's huge because we get to keep pressure on the Philadelphia Eagles at 9-1, and we also create a little more separation between the 49ers, who are breathing down our neck, and we don't play each other, obviously, this year. So with the right combination of things, they could now take the number 2 spot. And to me, we have to get number 2. Number 2 is, if we can't get number 1, we have to lock up that number 2 seed. Now, as far as the Packers are concerned, the Green Bay Packers are one game out of the playoffs. Now, tomorrow, if they were able to win, they would not move any further this week. So they're going to be stuck at 8. Reminds me of a lot how they're playing from behind like we were last year. They're going to be stuck at 8 no matter what happens tomorrow. They cannot go up. Now, if they lose and the Rams were to win on Sunday against the Cardinals, then the Green Bay Packers would drop at least to number 9. If they drop to 4-7 by the end of the weekend, they could be all the way down here with the Washington Commanders. So it is a huge, you go from one game out of the playoffs to the bottom, one of the bottom teams in the conference. With a loss tomorrow, you'll be just ahead of the New York Giants. So for the Packers, a win keeps them in the hunt. A loss drops them all the way down to what I would assume would be either 12 or 13 when it comes to them. But as far as the Lions they will keep pressure as the Eagles face the Bills and the 49ers face the Seahawks when it comes to Sunday. Now, it's funny because this reminds me a lot of the times when we were playing very well back in the 2000s. And every time we played well, the Green Bay Packers played better. Now, that was for the division. And a couple of those times, it came down to the last game of the season. I want to say it was 2011, which was the Matt Flynn game, and maybe 2016, somewhere around there. It was one of the 3 times we went to the playoffs. 2 of them came down to the last game of the season. And one time Aaron played and one time he didn't. And Matt Flynn beat us. But it reminds me of that, how the Eagles just keep finding ways to win, and we cannot get in that first seed. We'll talk about that a little later, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How excited are you about tomorrow's game? Lions have a chance, and you know what the funny thing about 2016? 2016 was the last time that we won, but then the very next year, we finished 9-7. So hopefully, I have no doubt that the Detroit Lions are going to win this game. And again, this isn't arrogance. This is just confidence. The home crowd is going to be acting ridiculous. It's going to be hard for the Green Bay Packers. I expect a ton of false starts, several delay of games, and the crowd is going to will the Lions to a win, the first time since 2016. That is insane. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.